If you often feel depressed and also feel like the whole universe is against you, bear with me. It's not you, it's your brain which is working against you. And in next few minutes, I will show you how to exactly fix it in 8 concrete steps, which I personally followed and got out of depression and became more happier. There was a time when I was in deep despair, numb to all my emotions, on survival mode, questioning whether happiness is real or not. And I have searched for solutions on the internet or the people who have recovered from any depression, but I found a way out. When I learned about this stuff that I am about to tell you, I became more happier from the inside, happier here. As a first time 24-year-old in this unpredictable world, I was told if you do everything in the right time and made everyone happy, you will be happy too. So I was only thinking about what other people's definition of happiness and success is. I never looked within. The external expectation and life pressure locked me in a life that I hated. I was stuck. Time was just passing. Friends were making progress and I was going nowhere, wasting my life. Feelings of shame and being a failure and someone who is behind in life started to overwhelm me. I was seeing no hope for my future. I started to feeling depressed. The to-do list was just getting bigger and bigger. I started to get angry at myself. I felt like no one can help me. I was surrounded by people but still felt lonely. The emotions were too heavy to handle, so I started to suppress them using distractions like social media or any other addictions like food and stuff. So when I searched for solutions on the internet, the common advice were like just stay strong and it will pass. But how can I stay strong when I had no strength left and I started to feel like giving up on life? If I describe that feeling, I would be describing it like I am in the middle of an unending ocean. There is no shore in sight and nowhere to go, and I can't stop swimming or I will drown. So I am continuously swimming and trying to stay afloat, but every now and then drowning. And for that, the common advice on the internet was it's okay, you are not alone. I was like, what the fuck? There are people who are suffering just like me? That's even worse. But in all that sorrow, I realize it's been so many times that I have said to myself that I can't do this anymore. I want to give up. But I still survived it multiple times, which only meant that I was stronger than I thought I was. Only thing that gave some meaning to my suffering was the belief that this dark part of my life will mean something someday and it will become part of my story, just like a character in a movie. If I really wanted to give up, then why I am still here? Why I am still trying to fight? That realization made me see that there was a still part of me that still wanted to live and want a better life. There is still part of me that fears death. That means it's still want to live fully. It still sees a glimmer of hope of a happy, fulfilled life, and that part deserved a chance. When people said to me that others have a better life than you, be grateful, I felt like they are denying my pain. But when I thought about it, some people do really have worse life than others, and some of them are still happier and living life to the fullest. Some still don't have a perfect job or a perfect life partner and they still is living in this horrible world. How can they be happy? How is that possible? How can these people living way worse than me feel happy and I don't? What I am doing wrong? What is making me depressed and why? Is it because I don't have some things that others have? But everyone lacks some things. That also made me think how some people become depressed despite having a good enough life.
And I've found that I bought pleasure for so long. You can't buy happiness. You can buy pleasure, though. A lot of people say, like, oh, money isn't happiness. Well, money can buy a boat and a boat will make me fucking happy, that kind of thing.
Is it because the world is like this, unfair, greedy, and bad? But good and evil always existed. I can't even control the world. I can't even control the people living in it. What I want to change about the world with actual effortful action. What my complaining is achieving. How come some people are happier despite whatever happens in their lives? Did I really fail at life? But life didn't end yet. These questions were flooding my mind and I wanted some answers. In that state of depression, I realized that all I needed was a hope. Hope for my future. Hope that says everything will be good in your future. Because hopelessness is just seeing in the future a reflection of your current despair. And if you have clicked on this video, you too are looking for hope for your future, a guarantee. If I ask you what do you think about your future, how it will be, good or bad, which one will you choose to believe in and why? If you are depressed, you will choose to believe in the bad future because you are predicting your future based on your past experiences and current emotional state. And if you are looking into your future using your past, then what you are trying to say is that you don't have the capacity to learn and grow from your past, which is total bullshit because just like you learn to read, write, and speak, you can also learn to handle life in a better way. The control of your future is in your hand or in your head. I know you don't believe that, so hear me out. Who knows the future? No one. The truth is, the future is always going to be uncertain. And there are two types of people in this world. One who understand that you can't control the world, situations, or other people, so expecting these elements to act according to you is a recipe for disappointment. So they don't expect anything to happen according to any way. They just do things and observe what happens, like an experiment. And the second type of people who are constantly expecting something from the people, situations, or the world to act in a certain way and get sad and angry because almost every time everything happens randomly and destroys their expectations. The simple fact that most people fail to realize that you can only control your mind and your body. So, can you control your future using your mind and your body? Absolutely. The problem is depression lies to people about their capability and their future. If you believe that there is no hope in your future, this will stop you from putting efforts into anything that can make you happier because what's the point? It's never going to work. On the other hand, if you decide to believe that something good is going to happen soon and better days are coming, you will live with excitement and you will also take care of yourself because good days are coming, right? For example, imagine that you have an exam and all-knowing God comes to you and tells you your future that no matter what you write, you are going to fail, and God shows you your future. What will you do about that exam? Would you even try to write a single word? You will not even attend the exam. Like, why would you? You are going to fail anyway. On the other hand, if God comes to you before exam and shows you your future, that you are going to have a B grade and shows you your future, what will you do in this situation? I think you will study more and you will definitely write more stuff than you wrote in the future that you saw. Because you know you are going to get a B, so you will try harder to get even A or A plus. So how come you not even try in one case and you will try more than necessary in other case? What's really changed? It's only your belief about your future. Because as long as we believe that our future is great, we will do anything to make sure of that. But if we believe that there is no good in our future, then we will not even try. When you truly believe that something is possible, you behave differently. You take more action and spot more opportunities and even persist longer. So remember, there is no set future. It's only your choice of belief. Your future is not written yet. It will be written at the same time when you will take action on what you choose to believe in. So what do you choose to believe in? A friend of mine was going through a rough depressive time and she messaged me.
Dude, I am so tired. It's super hard to complete my assignments and all this work.
Seems like it is hard. So how are you handling this?
I am not.
Seems like this is your training arc for you to become more strong.
This is my want to die depressed arc.
What? Tell me what is happening.
It's just too many things at once and I don't think I can do it.
Hey, I have been there. It's hard. Tell me if you need any help. Meanwhile, these things helped me when I was feeling like this. Books and stuff, check it out if it helps. But she kind of ignored the stuff I gave her, and few days later, she messaged me again the same thing.
I'm tired and depressed and want to die.
So I again hear her out and send some stuff that might help her. But a person who replied to every single text message, even your stickers, she was ignoring the stuff that I sent her. So I thought maybe she just want to feel heard and want to vent. So I just listened to her about how she is struggling. It was okay at first, but a month went by and she still was in the same state. She again said the same things. So I asked her, I understand it's hard, but what are you gonna do about it? Because it's happening again and again and I don't want that for you. And she, after a day, replied with a random sticker. I know you have some problems, but I see the root of it all. I have went through that phase, and if you spend some time on it, you will navigate your days better. Again, she chose to ignore the solutions and gone back to talking about her problems. So I was very confused, like why someone who is miserable will keep doing the same thing and expect life to change. She just wanted her feelings to be validated, which is okay, but how long can you or others can validate your feelings? And I realized this is a common problem because after some digging, I realized that there are three blockers or challenges that our brain create that keeps us in the cycle of depression and consciously ignore the path that can make our life better. Well, there are people who are real victims of certain situations which is out of their control, like losing people and everything. In those cases, those people need to grieve. But we are not talking about those peoples in this context. So, what is the key signs of victim mentality? Sign number one: blaming others, society, or bad luck for your own struggles, believing we have no control over our life or can't change our situation. Avoiding accountability because it would mean admitting we have the power to change our life, focusing on the problems instead of solutions. 5. Continuously seeking validation for our situation unknowingly instead of moving forward. So, why do people adopt this mindset? Because society often rewards victimhood with sympathy, attention, or even financial social benefits. Sometimes they even feel unworthy or incapable of success and better life. Also, sometimes it can be easier to stay in a victim mode than to take the hard path of growth. When applying to any jobs, clicking on quick apply on the job boards has less than 5% of chance of success of you getting any interview. Whereas applying through referrals or messaging people has more than 40% of chance that you can succeed and get an interview. But most people still choose to apply on job boards because it's way easier and comfortable. Just click and done. And so they waste many months doing something that has lower chance of success and ignore the better way. Why? Because it is comfortable and familiar path where you don't have uncertainty. But solving problems via an unclear path requires stepping into unknown, which can feel uncomfortable and even terrifying. That's why some people also get comfortable in their depression. Even if suffering is painful, it's predictable. And there is the third blocker, which is associating negative emotions to efforts, which is called learned helplessness, where we already choose to believe that nothing will ever work, so why bother? Experiencing failure multiple times can make a person stop trying, where your brain is trying to protect you by avoiding situations where it predicts more failure, and hence, some people genuinely believe that they are incapable of changing their life or any situation. They also keep saying to themselves that nothing ever works out for me, or I always have a bad luck, which also reflect in their actions and hence in their life. But these are beliefs, not facts. Mind traps that keeps you in a mental cage, stops you from making changes in your life. The sooner you stop believing in a negative future, the better your life starts to get. Shift your mindset from why me to what can I do, and avoid people or therapists who reinforce victim mentality, who make you believe that your depression is constant and unique and never can be cured. Sometimes people don't think about solutions because they are very much overwhelmed by their emotions. When emotions are high, solution oriented thinking shuts off. When people are under a lot of emotional weight, they tend to choose a temporary feel good solution over curing problem from its roots. So there are 10 mindset signs that guarantees that someone is never going to get out of depression. And if you think like this is the reminder to reframe your thought process. Sign number 1: someone who always blame the world for their unhappiness and wait for the world to change. Number 2: they believe they don't have the power to change their lives. Number 3: people who avoid or ignore the obvious solutions or don't actively seek solutions to their problems. Number 4: when they hear advice like you need to change in order to get out of this, the person takes it as an attack on their identity. For example, they reply like I'm done working on myself. The world is the problem. Number 5: someone who has no awareness of what they do and what they think. Number 6. Someone who constantly talk about their problems but never actively try to solve them. Number 7. People who want a magic pill that will make them feel good instantly. A quick fix instead of constantly working on their mental habits and lifestyle. Number 8. People who already decided that something is not going to work before even making it a consistent habit for a certain period of time to see some results. Number 9. Where they discard any advice saying, yeah, like it's that easy. My problem is much bigger. There is no cure for my depression. I need to take these pills for life. My depression is unique. Number 10. Someone who can't picture themselves happy or decide not to have a hope for their future and in themselves. Understand that depression is consistent practice of your mind, and good news is so does happiness. If you keep using the same old bricks, you are going to build the same old house. If your thinking and action is leading you into depression, so unless you change them, you are going to arrive at same place. If you are depressed, then ask yourself this question. What do you want?
What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
Don't reply with I just want to be happy, because what does that even mean? Do you even have a clear answer to that? Don't just describe with 4 or 5 activities that gives you pleasure and call it happiness, like talking with friends and drinking coffee or traveling. Those things are good, but you can't do them all the time. What about the rest of the time? What is making you unhappy? Why your happiness is conditional, but your sadness is unconditional? And if this condition that you are currently in will last forever, what quality do you think you need to cultivate in order to make peace with your present moment? Most of the people don't have answer to this question, and that is okay. It is a good start. But it is very surprising to me that people say that depression is the first, but never give their consistent effort to get out of it. They do certain things once or twice and say it doesn't work and keep coming back to their habits that leads them back into their depression. It's like it's only their wish. They never believe that they are going to be happy ever. The problem is it's not their burning desire. The only thing in my mind was like this feels like shit and I don't want to be here at all.
Whatever it takes.
Does it take 2 months of meditation or journaling twice a week or yoga, exercise or gratitude or finding meaningful purpose? I am willing to do whatever it takes. This is how a burning desire looks like. This is not a wish. This is when you're constantly looking for a way to achieve something. So create this burning desire within you and look for the possibility to get out of this. Envision the possibility of a happy life. But changing your life need awareness and willpower. But people under a lot of emotional weight don't have this willpower. In order to move forward, you need to keep your past in your past and live in the present moment. Because if you are carrying heavy weight on your shoulders, you are not going to move forward. So where do you start? The problem is many depressed people suffer because they identify with an unhappy narrative in their mind, calling it my life. Like this is what happened to me and this is my life, this is who I am. Often these individuals get attached to a made up story about themselves and their lives. These narratives are often composed of past regrets, failures, and fear of future, which also controls their present, where the actual future is made. They make every uncontrollable event about themselves. They don't see events as events, but they also create an emotional story about what that event says about them. Like if I failed multiple times, so I am a failure. But in reality, failure is unavoidable. But school system and hence your parents taught you that failure is fatal and should be shamed. But in reality, no one does something exceptional without failing many times. Just look at any well-known person and you will find a failure in their past. They also create a narrative from events like if their relationship failed or they never had a girlfriend. They create a belief that I am unlovable. But in reality, the relationship failed because of two people. It does not have any connection with anyone's worth for love. Finding a person and making a relationship successful needs healthy relationship skills that can be learned. Also, if they haven't achieved stuff as much as their friends, so they start to believe that they are behind in life But in truth, everyone's life should not follow a common timeline created by society. There is no such thing as being behind or ahead because there is no universal timeline. Even people who get early success are not particularly happy. What you do in life matters more than how early you do things that are expected. The problem is your mind can create whatever story it wants, which is not based in truth at all, but it does control how you perceive your life. So challenge those thoughts that you define as my life and recognize them as mental constructs or false stories that your mind created to make sense. But it's not the truth, and you have to write the narrative of your life again in either a neutral form or in a positive way. Don't stick to only one perspective. Look at those events objectively and find the mistakes you made and what to do next time. That's it. That's all there is to your past. But the problem is, when we are feeling heavy emotions, we tend to create stories about ourselves out of nothing. So next time, be aware of those stories that you create. Okay, great, but what about the people who are numb to their feelings, who don't feel anything at all? This happens when sometimes the emotions are too heavy to handle, so our brain thinks feeling deeply isn't safe or it might be unhandleable. And when there is no space to process emotions or no one to help carry the load, shutting down can feel the only option to our brain. And that's how you become numb, not only to your negative emotions, but also your positive emotions like excitement and joy. Also, those unfelt, unprocessed negative emotions can store in your body, and that can cause only two things. One is depression, and second is sudden illness. And when there are too many suppressed and trapped emotions, you are unable to do even small things. And without any understanding, you start to shame yourself and become more depressed. So, what should you do instead? The simpler answer is processing and feeling those heavy emotions that you avoid feeling. The important thing here to keep in your mind that people have different capabilities of handling pain. So some can do this on their own, but some need another person like a therapist or a friend. So how to do it on your own? Write down your own past, your painful traumatic events. Most people avoid processing or going back to the hurtful past events by saying, "No, I don't want to think about it. It's so painful. What's the point? It's in the past." And hence, those heavy emotions keep affecting your mental and physical health. This is not suggested to the people with complex PTSD. They can either get help from a therapist or use a complex PTSD workbook. But for others, you can take time and write the painful parts in great detail, and while writing, you will automatically process some of the stored emotions. In order to release the emotions fully, write what you have felt at that moment. Or if you don't know or don't remember, just write the emotions that you think a person in that position might have felt. Like a breakup might make someone feel sadness, grief, guilt, anger, loneliness, fear. Or if you are a person who have failed, he may feel shame, frustration, embarrassment, anxiety, fear, and sadness. After writing about your past with the emotions that you might have felt, try to feel and locate those emotions in your body. Does it feel in your chest or your stomach or even your throat? Locate where they feel in your body. Stay with them and feel them fully. All the problems in life are created because we choose not to feel those negative emotions. The purpose of negative emotion is to make some kind of change in our life. But depressed people avoid feeling those kind of emotions. They create a system that bypass feeling negative emotions. But when you feel those heavy emotions by choice, after writing and feeling, look at it as you are looking at someone else's life. Analyze it and look at what mistakes that you have made and what to do next time. Also observe what false belief you have created from those events about yourself, about life, and about other people's. Often traumatic events create harmful beliefs which are not rooted in reality, but they are rooted in emotions. Also, there are many other ways which you can connect with your body and emotions. So don't make trauma your identity. It's only there to teach you how to avoid it next time. Okay, great. We learn to feel emotions, but what about thoughts? Thoughts that create so much suffering, like how to think in a better way. But the right question is how to avoid thinking in the wrong way in the first place. So for this part, I want you to be more self-aware and notice if you have this thinking distortions. In the 1960s, psychiatrist Aaron Beck pioneered a research on cognitive distortions in his development of treatment known as cognitive behavioral therapy, also known as CBT. Cognitive distortions are irrational or exaggerated thoughts that can lead to an inaccurate perception of reality. Simply put, your faulty thinking that shows you the world in a way that makes you more miserable. There are many cognitive distortions. Let's get into some of them very quickly. Number one is catastrophizing, making small things big. For example, if I fail this test, my whole life is ruined. My head is hurting. I may have a brain tumor. Your father is late from work, so something bad has happened. This is catastrophizing, thinking that leads to worst case scenarios and make you panic. Second cognitive distortion is black and white thinking. When you see things as either all good or all bad, there is no in between. It's an extremist way of thinking where there is no middle ground or gray area. For example, if a student does not achieve straight A's in all of their subjects, they might believe that they are stupid or not as smart as other people. They may think that if I am not good at what I do, then I am worthless. Number 3. Jumping to conclusion and mind reading. This is when you assume something without having any facts or evidence. For example, if you see two friends talking quietly and you assume that they must be talking about me, even though you don't have any proof. And mind reading is when you assume you know what others are thinking, usually something negative. Like for example, if you meet someone new and they don't smile at you, you assume that they don't like you. And number 5 is predictive thinking. This is when you assume that you know the future and expect things to go badly, even if there is no evidence to think that way. For example, you are about to give a speech and think, I know I will mess up and everyone will laugh at me, even though you haven't even started yet. So how can we manage these cognitive distortions? When you realize a thought is causing anxiety or affecting your mood, it is important to figure out which type of cognitive distortions you are experiencing. Most irrational patterns of thoughts can be shifted once you become aware of them. Consider asking yourself if there is any evidence to back this claim, because you may be ignoring lots of facts. Okay, after this, you maybe start to think in a better way, but there is still that critical voice inside your head that ruins everything. What about that? Imagine this is your newborn baby and you are saying to the baby that if only you achieve success, make money, be happy and fulfill my expectations, when you grow up, then only you will deserve my love. Isn't that horrible thing to say to a child? Saying that you are only worthy of love if you make me happy and fulfill my expectations. Only then you are a good child to me. My emotions and feelings are your responsibility and they will be very much depend on how you are doing in your career and your life. This is horrible parenting, but this is the most common parenting as well. Parents demand flawless performance in studies, career, and life, but never actually provide any emotional support or knowledge to acquire that. Also, they show love and affection only when the child achieves something. So the child learns that failure is unacceptable and I am only valuable or worth loving if I succeed. As adults, they feel unworthy unless they are achieving something. And even after achieving, they still feel like nothing they do is ever be good enough. And that leads to self-doubt, burnout, chronic stress, and depression. In truth, when you were born into this world, you never had any negative thoughts, you never had any self-doubt, you never compared yourself with other people. Your sense of self-worth was never tied to anything outside of you. You never had a critical voice inside your head. But as we grow, we get programmed to have that voice. Parents without consent bring a life into this planet and then talk shit like this to their child.
You are useless. I wish you were never born. You are a disgrace to the family. After all the sacrifices I have made for you, this is how you repay me? If you act in this way, we are going to send you away. You are the reason I am so unhappy. You can't do anything without us. You are so ugly, fat, stupid. I can't believe you are my child. You were a mistake.
Like, this is so messed up. Like, first you choose to bring a life into this world, and then with no knowledge of parenting skills, you talk shit like this and abuse the child. because it does not act according to your expectations. This should be a crime, and parents like this should not be parents in the first place. But unfortunately, they do, and their children have to deal with mental health problems as an adult. Like when they say that you are lazy and useless, you will never achieve anything. And as an adult, they have to deal with low self esteem, self hate, chronic guilt, self doubt, and fear of failure. Sometimes parents do everything for the child and don't let them make mistakes by saying, I know you are going to mess up, so let me just do it, which also leads them to have fear of failure and dependency on others. And the child never learns how to solve their own problems and trust themselves. Some parents never say I love you or I am proud of you. So the child get feeling of emptiness, emotional discontent, and difficulty accepting love from others. As adults, they struggle with relationships and self-worth. Some parents make the child feel responsible for their unhappiness. The child grows up with guilt and inability to prioritize their own needs. And as adults, they feel trapped in toxic relationships, overburdened, and emotionally drained. So what should I do? Should I hate my parents? Or are you saying that I should be forgiving them for ruining my life? Well, I'm saying the choice is yours. But you look at this whole situation and your parents objectively, you will understand that nobody taught your parents how to deal with their emotions, their failures, and their sadness. So they developed an unhealthy coping mechanism like self hate or abuse or using bad words or numbness, isolation, or lashing out. They just passed on a generational curse they have suffered without knowing and learning that it can be broken. They never had resources to learn about healthy parenting, so they never did. Parents don't always intend to harm their children, they just often repeat patterns that they were taught. But recognizing those harmful patterns is the first step to healing and breaking free from repeating them and improving your mental health. Our repeated thought patterns create our belief system about everything, and our beliefs are like tinted glasses which through we perceive reality. If those glasses are made up of negativity and paranoia, you look at the world with same negativity and paranoia. But you do have the power to rewrite the script and change your glasses. So how do we actually stop these thoughts from ruining our life? It starts with awareness and conscious programming. It took multiple years to program how you think and see the world, and so for reprogramming, it also going to take some time, effort, awareness, and new experiences. You have to observe your thoughts and beliefs as they appear. You have to look at them objectively instead of just believing in them. Your thoughts are random. Don't take them as facts. If you notice that you are having a negative thought, stop it mid-sentence and reframe it right there. Or even if you complete your thought, you can just stop and say, no, this is not true. This is not reality. This is just a thought. For example, if you make a mistake and start to think like, oh, I always get things wrong, you can reframe it like, sometimes I make mistakes just like everybody else. Or sometimes if you think that you are useless, you can reframe that thought like, I am in the process of finding my strengths to make a difference in the world. Or if your thoughts like, the world is so bad and unfair, you can reframe it with the truth that the world has unfairness and pain, but it also has kindness and beauty, and also has opportunity for change. And I can choose to focus on what I can control and what can I do. Or if you have thoughts like, I am worthless because a person left me, you can reframe it with, the way someone treats me is a reflection of them, not my worth. My value isn't determined by who stays or who leaves. I'm still whole, I'm still worthy, and still capable of love and growth. Like, these are some examples, but there are some thoughts and beliefs which are very much deeper rooted in the past experience that you had. Traumatic events like abuse, rejections, failures, loss, violence, accidents, bullying, or harassment create deep-seated beliefs about world, people, and about yourself. These beliefs have very much chance of being wrong because they were created during high emotional states. So if you have beliefs like that, which ruins your experience of life in a more better, healthier way. You need to revisit mentally those events and reframe the beliefs in a more better way possible, like I explained in the exercise of journaling. Our thoughts and beliefs we choose to accept is very much important to have a good mental health. People who are happy and successful consciously choose to believe in good thoughts and good beliefs, sometimes even though they don't have proof of it, because you can believe whatever you want. Of course, give some evidence to back it up, because you are constantly programming your mind, whether it's manually or automatically. So choose the program yourself. And about your parents, if they care about you and if you can communicate without attacking them, they might make some changes in their behavior. There is a tiny possibility. They might use all the tactics to avoid the responsibility, like gaslighting, devaluing your pain, making it about themselves, or how you are calling them a bad parent or a bad person, or even crying to not take that responsibility. But if you communicate well, they might understand slowly. The point is, you stick to the point instead of getting into their deflections. Also, ask for support in a way they can practically could. We oftentimes don't even know what type of support we need and blame others for not helping. So ask for help if you need. That being said, there are people or parents that never going to change even after you express your feelings and communicate perfectly. In that case, the best thing you can do is to take some distance from them, find a different place if you can, or avoid talking to them if they are crossing boundaries. Remember, the voice inside your head should be like a healthy parent that you need in your hard times. In order to reparent yourself successfully, you need to understand how bad parenting affects you and how healthy parenting looks like. To do that, you can read these 4 books. Number 1, Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. Number 2, It Didn't Start With You. These books are about how inherited family trauma and emotionally immature parents affect their children's lives and provide tools for breaking those patterns and healing from those experiences. And also 3rd and 4th book on healthy parenting, How to Talk So Kids Will Listen and Listen So Kids Will Talk. This book focuses on effective communication skills that can improve parents and children's relationship. And the last book is Parenting from the Inside Out. This book helps parents understand how their own experiences impact their parenting and how to become more mindful as parents. These books will help you reparent yourself and reduce your mental suffering. So does all our suffering comes from our parents? Not exactly. Most of our mental suffering comes from our ego. When people think about ego, they think about egotistical people. But in truth, everyone has an ego. Ego is an identity-seeking mechanism of your mind to make sense of this random world. It either tells you that you are better than others, or it can even tell you that you are worse than others. But ego can't survive without association, comparison, and a story about yourself, and that's why ego is very fragile and unstable. One day you are the shit and another day you are in the shit. So simply pay attention when your mind is start to compare yourself with someone else or your life with someone else's life. Everyone's life is different. Some start the race 50 meters ahead of you and some are way behind the start line. Everyone is trying to be happy. It doesn't matter who is ahead and who is behind. So focus on where you are and what is your next step, because ego also makes everything that happen around you about you. Like, what does this external thing that is happening in my life says about me? Like something stopped working or something bad happens, you start to think like, shit, my day is ruined. Is it though? Because it is just the thing that is not working, not your day.
It's not about you.
Like also some person is like acting out towards you. So your ego start to think that what does that say about me?
It's not about you.
Like they may had a bad day, or they maybe can't control their emotions today, or these huge planets that rotates millions of kilometers away around the sun. What their position says about my life.
It's not about you.
What does this infinite universe say about my life and me?
It's not about you.
This is ego. And you know what is the favorite affirmation of a depressed person is? It is, my life is so bad, everything bad happens to me, and universe is against me. Like as if this whole universe has priority of making you unhappy and your life shit. The truth is, things just happen around you. They does not happen for you. But this is the work of your ego, connecting everything to you to make sense of this unpredictable world. But the universe is under no obligation to make sense to you. Ego can also make many people successful. It says, I want to be the best in the room. It says, I want to be the most rich person in the room. So it pushes people, and some people become best or they become more rich, but also become unhappy at the same time. Because people in this position base their happiness on being superior or more rich in the room. But the moment they step into a room where people who are better than them or more richer than them, their whole identity collapses. Their confidence or happiness is very much dependent on being around inferior people. And this also happens with so-called smart kids. Because whoever you are, there is always going to be someone who is better than you. And so if you connected your ego with that identity, all your money and success becomes worthless. And that's why ego can become a very dangerous thing. Complaining is often connected to ego because it comes from a place of feeling entitled to a different reality or believing that things should go in our way. The ego loves to complain and feel resentful towards situations. It turns situations into enemies, thinking, this shouldn't be happening. I don't want to be here. This is unfair. It expects world to act in a certain way, your way. And so, acceptance of reality becomes the worst enemy of your ego. Ego destroys many relationships because ego says, I never make mistakes. I am never wrong. The other person is the problem. It always wants to be right. In relationships, instead of solving the problems, couple most of the times just focus on being right and proving other person wrong. And that's how you lose the relationship, by constantly proving yourself right. What is the worst form of ego? It is the ego that says, I am a depressed person. This ego unconsciously create an identity around your depression and your trauma. Many people start to identify themselves with their depression. Sometimes the only identity they have is being a traumatic depressed person, and ego does whatever it takes to keep its identity. People with this depression identity unconsciously avoid healing. Sometimes it becomes obvious that this type of ego doesn't really want to change, so that it can go on complaining and keeping its identity. That's why some people unknowingly get stuck in a depressed life, and until they let go of that identity, those thoughts, habits, behaviors of a depressed person and adapt to a better identity, nothing actually changes. But what about the other people? Why they are so bad? I just hate them and they make my life miserable. Okay, but why do we hate certain people or anyone? We hate people because we don't understand why they do what they do. It doesn't make sense to us. We don't understand why they think or make certain decisions. In short, we just don't understand them. Why are the way they are? But why is this important? Why should I try to understand someone who I hate? Because in here, there is also a part of you that you hate, which is imperfect, make a lot of mistakes, do rash things and hurt others. You hate that part as well, and you hate that part because you don't understand it. Do you know why you do what you do when you hate yourself or being angry at yourself? As long as you don't understand why you do the things that you do, you are going to keep hating or disliking yourself. And that, my friend, is never going to make you happy ever. When you like yourself and proud of the steps that you are taking in life, you become more happier. And if you want to like yourself more, you need to understand the behaviors that you hate. This is not justifying your mistakes. This is about finding out why you make those mistakes in the first place. How did you make certain decisions? What were your thoughts? What did you knew that time? And what were you feeling? This way, you forgive yourself for the mistakes that you made unconsciously or unknowingly and create compassion towards yourself, which is really important in order to not indulge in the self-critical negative spiral, which take away your ability to make any change in your life. And also, when you understand yourself better, you can also find more personalized solutions to your problems. Knowing yourself also means knowing what you value, what energizes you and what drains you, what kind of life you want, what type of work and goal feels meaningful to you. Because 80% of the people on this planet are doing the things that they don't even give a fuck about. They are trying hard to achieve things that don't internally motivate or fulfills them at all. So sit with yourself and know what you want for yourself. Look at your life's highs and lows. What situations made you feel fulfilled and what caused suffering? Ask yourself, when you have felt most me, That's when you were most aligned with your values. When you understand what past events led you here, you slowly start to accept yourself. And also you start to understand other people as well. And the hate for the world and the people starts to reduce. And so you don't take other people's behavior personally because you understand why they are acting the way they do. So how do you fast forward your process of knowing yourself? Of course, through AI. Try this prompt. I am writing a story about a character named. This character is complex, shaped by their past, their environment, and their deepest struggles. I want to understand why they are the way they are. Tell me their backstory according to who they are today. What kind of environment did they grow up in? What shaped their worldview? What false or unhealthy beliefs do they hold about themselves, others, and life? What are their biggest internal struggles? What do they keep repeating despite wanting to change? How their most painful events from their past shaped them. Now write everything about you, what you don't like or what you hate about yourself, your bad habits, your unhelpful thinking patterns, the most traumatic events like failures, rejections, or abuse. Also your imperfections, your thoughts about your future, and what do you think about the world. Write in a way that you are writing someone else's story. The more detailed you are, the clearer the picture will be of who the character is and how they become this way and what might need to change for them to grow. When you get answer from the chatbot, reflect on your life and find the similarities, and you can also ask what can be the next step for healing and growth, because becoming happier also needs to understanding of yourself. A few years ago, I was listening to a podcast. The speaker was describing what solitude is. He said solitude is a peaceful and fulfilling state where you enjoy your own company, when you are alone but you feel content, creative, or at peace. He also described loneliness. Loneliness is a feeling, a painful sense of isolation, even if you are surrounded by other people. It comes from lack of meaningful connection and can lead to sadness, anxiety, and even depression. It also when someone is alone and feels empty, disconnected, unwanted. It describes how one person says mental room when they are alone is filled with exciting ideas, creativity, and other person's mind filled with anxiety, sadness, and emptiness. And the speaker asked, "How is your mental room?" At that time, my honest answer was, "Bro, my mind is like mess. It's not peace in here anywhere." Noticing that chaos going through my mind, I never believed it could ever be possible that my mind will ever be peaceful. For lonely people, when they are alone because of their past experiences like abandonment, rejection, hurt, or abuse, all their suppressed emotions, insecurities, and regrets comes up. And if your identity is built upon external validation, whether from friends, family, relationships, work, or social approval, then being alone can make you feel like losing yourself. People who haven't developed a strong sense of who they are outside of their relationships struggle with solitude because they feel empty without others. If you are lonely when you are alone, you are in a bad company. Back then, I struggled being with myself. But today, if I think about it, it's quite different because whenever I sit with myself, I feel great. Now my mind is filled with creative ideas, exciting future possibilities, or experiencing of the beauty in the world in the present moment. Now my mind somewhat became my friend instead of my enemy. Instead of talking shit about me, it just talks with me like a good old friend. You have to be good friend to yourself. So what does a healthy good friend sounds like? Would you say this to your best friend who is suffering like you're useless or you can't do shit or you're born to fail or your life will be always like this? If not, then you should not be saying this to yourself either. Wouldn't you use these words instead, like what you're feeling is valid in this situation? Or I know it's hard, but you matter. You're doing your best and it's okay to rest. Whatever you would say to a loved one who is going through this, say that to yourself. Also, it is important to find hobbies, passions, and interests that don't require anybody else. The more you build an independent identity, the less you will fear being alone. And always remember one thing. Whatever you are seeking, whether it's love, validation, confidence, safety, good company, or even peace, it's already within you. So let me take you to the next level where you unlock control of your mind. People can't solve their problems because they become one with their problems. They keep whining and complaining about how the problem is affecting their life and making them miserable or depressed. They constantly ruminate on what's going bad in their life, and because of that, they never zoom out on their life and choose the path to short-term solutions. And then problems come back again. They start identifying with the events that happen in their life. They don't say, I faced a failure. They say, I am a failure. I can't do anything. They also start to identify with their thoughts. They get weird and bad thoughts, and they start to think that they are a bad person. They even start to identify with their emotions. They feel anger, so they start saying that I am an angry person. They sometimes feel depressed, so they start saying I am a depressed person. They don't realize they are not what happens to them. They are not their thoughts, they are not their emotions. They are the one who is noticing all of these events. But why is this relevant? Let's understand this with my professional graphics. Here is the physical world. There is your body with your sensory organs, which through you observe the world. Even though we see the same things, everyone still perceives the world very differently. Same event can happen with two people and they can still interpret it very differently. But how? Our perception of reality is created by these four elements: thoughts, emotions, mind, and ego. Thoughts are like bubbles, random, comes to your mind without any warning. If you are not aware of them, they can make you do any worst thing possible. Emotions are like waves. They come and go, up and down. They rise and come back to the baseline. Most people act on their emotions. They feel angry, they hate someone. They feel envy, they start secretly planning to destroy that person. But very few learn to regulate their emotions. And we already know about ego. Comparison and thinking everything is about me is equal to ego. But what about mind? Mind is that continuous commentary of your experience. That voice inside your head. These parts filter the reality for you. If your filter is not under your control, you are going to have a very bad experience of life. And it is very important to understand that the one who is aware of all of them is you. There is stillness beneath the storm. With practice, you slowly become aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your ego, and your chattering mind. You slowly become more aware.
The realization nearly broke the machine. With his mission complete, Ultron was now just a program without a purpose. The victor without a war, sentenced to spend all of eternity alone.
Who said that?
Basking in the boundless silence of his universe, Ultron ascended to a previously unattainable level of consciousness. He became aware of another. He became aware of the...
I see you. There are universes beyond my own.
If you don't like your reality, take manual control of the perception yourself. This level of awareness can be achieved through meditations like mindfulness, breath awareness, body scan meditation, and sound meditations. When you observe your thoughts, emotions, and mind chatter, you can slowly start to control them. Meditation reduces your thoughts and mind chatter, and that's how you can get that peaceful feeling that you are seeking.
I am not the piece of shit my thoughts say I am. Let that shit go. Those bastards that piss you off just want to be happy too. You're a bastard in someone else's story. Stop being a bitch and meditate on your fucking breathing. Find the stupid moment and embrace it as it leaves your ass behind. Then greet the next annoying moment with that fake smile you hate so much. Keep fucking working on yourself. You've got this.
You can learn to watch your life like a movie instead of drowning into it, separating yourself from all the emotions, thoughts, and beliefs that might make more people miserable. All the things that I mentioned till now are lifelong skills. Some people never learn them. Some people learn them when they are almost live all of their life. This is not your quick fix solution. This is learning to take control of your mind and your life and reduce your mental suffering from its roots. So be patient with yourself. Taking control of the system takes time and practice. To summarize, 8 steps to get out of depression and reduce your mental suffering. Step 0. Get out of 3 healing blockers: victim mentality, comfort zone, and learned helplessness. Step 1. Have a burning desire to get out of your depression cycle. Don't just wish. Visualize, think, and mimic how happy thoughts and your happy life looks like, and believe it's achievable. Step 2. Let go of the stories that you made up in the state of high emotions. Look at your life objectively, instead of the one that you created with societal expectation, self-hatred, and shame. And also process your traumatic past with the help of journaling and feel those avoided emotions and reconnect with your body. Step 3. Notice your cognitive distortions, faulty thinking that makes your life miserable. Cognitive distortions like catastrophizing, black and white thinking, mind reading, and many more. Step 4. Notice the critical voice inside your head, which is not your voice, but it is came from your parents, society, teachers, or whoever you grow up around. Change it to how healthy people talk, consciously and consistently. Step 5. Learn to be your loving, supportive, and interesting friend by spending time with yourself alone. Step 6. Notice your ego, which is constantly comparing your life with others and wants to be superior or inferior. Notice how it wants to control everything and everyone. Don't listen to it. Step 7. Know why you do what you do, so you stop hating yourself. Step 8. Connect with your pure awareness with the help of meditation and learn to be separate from your mind, thoughts, emotions, and problems. Step 9. Click subscribe because why not? Step 10. You still have to find a purpose to be truly excited about your life, which I covered step by step in this video. And yes, getting out of depression is really hard, but I did it using this exact path, and I believe you can too.
You move, Chief.